Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and today we are doing some historic brawling with one of the sweetest new legends from the Lord of the Rings in Smeagol Helpful Guide. So Smeagol, it's actually a really interesting commander. If you think about what Smeagol does and what Smeagol wants, it's kind of like a triple hybrid deck. It's trying to do three different, somewhat related things. So Smeagol itself, 3 mana 4/2. At the beginning of our end step, if a creature died under our control this turn, the ring tempts us. And then whenever the ring tempts us, target opponent mills cards until they hit a land, and we get the land into play, tap, the rest go to the graveyard. So Smeagol, it really does three different things. First, it's a ring tempts you commander. Like, the more we're tempted, the more we trigger Smeagol, the more we'll mill our opponent, the more we'll get to ramp with lands out of our opponent's deck. So we are playing essentially every ring tempts you card possible. We got Call the Ring, we got all 9 Nazguls in the deck because they're one of the most easy and repeatable ways to be tempted by the ring. Also, they get really big if we're tempted by the ring. Witch King of Angmar, like, if you name a ring tempt you card, it's in our deck. We're playing literally all of them, down to Bombadil's Song. Like, we have every single one that are in our colors. So that's step one. Play Smeagol, try to get tempted as much as possible, which will ramp us an absurd amount from our opponent's deck and also mill our opponent a bunch. The other thing that Smeagol cares about, or the next thing I guess, is it's kind of an aristocrat's commander. So if one of our creatures died, we get tempted at our end step. So one of the ways we can get tempted by Smeagol is to make sure that every turn we have a creature dying. So for this, we have removal like Bone Shards and Bone Splinters as sacks creatures. We got repeatable creatures like Resembling Skeleton that keeps coming back from the graveyard. So the idea is we can sack these creatures for value, for removal, for card draw, and then trigger Smeagol to do some ramping on our end step. The other thing Smeagol does is puts a lot of lands into play. So it's also kind of a sneaky landfall commander, because remember, every time we're tempted by the ring, we're getting to put a land into play from our opponent's deck. So we have landfall synergies like Tireless Provisioner, Tireless Tracker, we have Lotus Cobra, things that are triggering every time a land enters the battlefield, and these cards can really snowball with our Smeagol. Like, once Smeagol gets going and we're being tempted, we're triggering these cards multiple times each turn. We also got a bunch of land ramp to work with, a Spring Bloom, Derivative Harrow, Entish Restoration, Scoot Swarm, another finisher for the deck. So that's essentially the goal of Smeagol. Play Smeagol early in the game, hopefully protect Smeagol. We got like a Swiftfoot Boots, we got Bombadil's Song, a few ways to protect Smeagol, and then just be tempted to do a ton of ramping, to trigger landfall a bunch of times with some aristocrat synergies as well. So the last question is, how do we actually win the game with Smeagol? What is our finisher? And we can't just outvalue our opponent. Like, Smeagol can put so many lands into play that we can just dump our hand and draw a bunch of cards and play a bunch of Nazguls and just overwhelm our opponents naturally. But we do have a couple of sneaky finishers that I really like in this deck. So milling our opponent out isn't really a realistic plan. Like, we do have Altar of Dementia. I guess in theory, if the game goes really long, we could Smeagol and like mill a bunch with Smeagol's ability and Altar of Dementia our team and maybe mill our opponent out, but our opponent's playing 100 cards. They're playing Historic Brawl, so milling 100 cards in the Golgari colors actually isn't really that easy or realistic, so that's not really our main plan. We're using Smeagol's ability mostly for value and for ramping, not to actually try to empty our opponent's library. The card that I love the most, my favorite finisher in this deck, which I actually think is like the perfect finisher for Smeagol, is Eldritch Pact. Eldritch Pact, 7 mana sorcery. So expensive cards actually not bad in our deck because Smeagol ramps so much. 7 mana sorcery, target player draws X and loses X life, where X is the number of cards in their graveyard. This is a way we can turn Smeagol's mill into a legit win con. Like, we don't have to mill 100 cards. We only have to mill at most 25 cards. Get 25 cards in our opponent's graveyard, and Eldritch Pact will just burn our opponent out of the game for 7 mana. So that's my favorite finisher in the deck. We can also tutor it up. We have like Diabolic Intent, works with the sacrifice theme of the deck. So that's our main finisher. We also have another new card that I really want to cast that works really well with Smeagol, which is Shadow of the Enemy. Shadow of the Enemy exiles all creatures from target player's graveyard, and we get to cast those creatures for as long as they remain exiled. So essentially, we mill a bunch with Smeagol. We get the land, so we're gonna have a ton of mana to play cards off Shadow of the Enemy, and then we Shadow of the Enemy, exile the creatures from our opponent's graveyard, and just build a massive board of our opponent's creatures to win the game. So that's essentially the plan of the deck. Otherwise, it's kind of typical stuff. We got a bunch of card draw. You always want as much card draw as possible. A bunch of good ramp, especially land ramp to trigger our landfall stuff. These are removable spells. You can feed the swarm and whatnot, some sweepers. So anyway, that is Smeagol for Historic Brawl. Brawl. That's our deck for today. So let's jump into some games and see what ridiculous things we can do with Smeagol in the Historic Brawl format. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be back in a bit for the wrap up. Need some magic cards? Well, you can snag them from our sponsor, Card Kingdom, over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. And this end looks good. We even have dust boots to protect Dust Smeagol. This should be interesting because our opponent wants lands in the graveyard, and Smeagol, I guess it doesn't really mill lands, but it does mill other stuff. Are we killing the mana dork? Are we that kind of? We probably are, right? I think that's probably correct. Yeah, let's do it. Feed the Swarm, kill the Mystic, pass the turn. Now we're gonna have to decide: do we Phyrexian Arena? Ooh, Shadows of the Enemy. That could be sweet. Yeah, you know what? Let's Phyrexian Arena. Start drawing some cards, losing some lives. Shadows of the Enemy, one of the cards I'm most hyped to resolve in this deck. Exile all creatures from target player's graveyard. You can cast those spells for as long as they remain exiled, blah, 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 blah. Oh my god, the One Ring too. We are living the Smeagol dream. Well, we will play... Let's do it this way. Let's play Beseishu, play Golem, play Tangled Florahedron. About it. All right, kills a Golem. We get tempted. Sure. With Phyrexian Arena and the One Ring, we might just die. That would be the Smeagol way, right? You go for the Precious and then die. Oh dear. Yeah, that's not great. Down to 6. The opponent's aggro. Aggro. 1, 2, 3. Play Smeagol. Play the Forest. Play Nazguls. Get a little tempted. We'll make Smeagol the Ring Bearer. Milieu. Ramp. And Nazguls can take down the Oddity, which is good. Death Touch is actually kind of helpful. We really want more creatures in our opponent's graveyard before we cast this. We're hoping that Smeagol does some more milling. I mean, we will snap block, right? They kill the Smeagol. If they attack, we will. I mean, we 100% are blocking with this Nazguls. Yes, block. All right, down to 14. Down to 13. Let's play Swiftfoot Boots. Play Malakar Mire. Pass the turn. I think we're just gonna Harrow to get a couple lands. Harrow's better if we have some landfall stuff on the battlefield, but it is still technically ramp. All right, there's the Windgrace. No lands in the graveyard though. Sure. Well, that's Harrow. Sag Malakar Mire. Definitely a swamp, maybe 2. Yeah, let's get double swamp. Oh, but it passes. All right, we draw down to 12. Broker's Hideout. Well, there's all the lands. All right, let's play Smeagol. Play the land on green. Dust Boots the Smeagol. And One Ring to complete the likely killing of ourselves. No attack. So we get protection, so we're not dying to the Soul of the Windgrace. Somehow our opponent's only drawn 4 lands. They've drawn 4 very, very beautiful basics. And that's it. How do we get tempted? We need to find a way to get tempted. To get some more stuff in the graveyard so we can Shadow the Enemy. All right, here comes the ramp. All right, Skyclave Shade, sure. I'm gonna go attacking. Well, let's draw a card, see what we find. Oh, this feels bad, but we're so far ahead on mana. I think the trade is worth it. Yeah, back to the command zone. Because we are pretty far ahead on mana right now. Heroic Intervention. Ooh, okay. Scoot Swarm. Broker's Hideout. Do some scooting. Snow-covered Forest. Do some scooting. Float for a mana. Sack the Florahedron. Play Smeagol again. Put the boots on the Smeagol. Get in with the Smeagol. Creature died. Tempted. I guess Smeagol can be the Ring Bearer. All right, grab a land, mill a Goldspan, make some scoots. Okay, boy. Okay, now this Shadow of the... Oh, opponent scoops it up. The Shadow of the Enemy was looking so good. With the Goldspan and the Uvenwald Oddity in the graveyard, that was actually looking pretty good. All right, this deck has some cool synergies. It's really like a 3-way hybrid deck. It's like partly a Ring Tempts You deck. That's the basis of the deck, is get tempted as much as possible, which is where the Nazguls and stuff comes in. So it's a Ring Tempts You deck. It's also sort of an aristocrats deck because Smeagol cares about things dying, but then it's also a landfall deck because Smeagol puts lands into play. And then I guess actually it's also like a tiny bit of a mill deck. It's a super unique archetype, really. This hand is sketchy, but we have a scry land, so we should be fine, right? Casualties of War to the bottom. Okay, maybe we won't be fine. Ashnod's Altar is good. Woodland Cemetery gonna come into play tapped. Well, all right, boom, Golem time. Here it comes. Early Smeagol before the Smeagoling about it. Throne seems annoying. Well, we'll play a land and we'll hit ya. Unfortunately, our land is slightly tepid. Boom, down to 22 past the turn. Golem aggro, opponent land, and getting their ramp on. How about a land magic gods? No, Nazguls. Well, that means we gotta play Smeagol. We can start stealing lands from our opponent next turn. We have the progression of Golem laid out in front of us magic wise. Where it started, how's it going, before and after, whatever. Choose your before and after meme. I can't do the voice. My precious. Oh my, that's so bad. Throne, that's a little scary. Still not drawing lands, which is also awkward. Let's do it this way. Let's play the envelope. Choose Golem as our ring bearer. Ow, mill a bunch of cards. Get in with Golem. Hit ya. One of the nice things about Historic Brawl is there's no commander damage, so we don't die. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter that much because you only have 25 life anyway, so if you're taking 21, you're probably dying. Throw in Voltron a little less scary because of that. Opponent, turn to Earth. Shuffle some cards back in. Just don't kill our Smeagol. We're missing land drops. Ooh, Pitiless Plunder. We play Ashnod's Altar. Golem. Get tempted. Smeagol becomes the ring bearer. Ramp. Nazguls. Get tempted. Stick with Smeagol. Ramp. Mill you. Gain some life. Hey, cheaty land. We will discard a Blood on the Snow. I don't think we need the Wrath this game. Opponent down to 14. So far, the temptation's working, and we get tempted again end step because we sacked a creature. We'll stick with Smeagol. Wow, Smeagol actually offers a ton of ramp, doesn't it? Get another land. Mill. Oh my goodness, that graveyard. That graveyard is looking so juicy. It might be Shadow of the Enemy time. We'll see. Opponent. Oh, okay. Well, there goes some of the juicy creatures. Opponent shuffles back in, a bunch of bombs. What does this thing do? ETB's X counters, Rex's number of turns it is you've begun since it was foretold. God, Galta. All right, I am sort of regretting discarding the Wrath now. Indestructible, we'll take the beats. How long can we live is the real question. Can we win with Torment? So they can't block the Smeagol. We can play this for 4. It makes 1, 2, 3. Okay, if we sack everything. 1, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Well, that's probably lethal, isn't it? All right, well, let's go to combat. I think it is lethal. They can't block because apparently the ring's actually good. We will discard a land. If they hadn't shuffled in all their cool creatures, we definitely would have went for the Shadow of the Enemy, but I think we have to do the thing. I think we have to do the Torment of Hailfire thing. So snow-covered swamp, I guess. Let's see. 1, is this lethal? Opponent's at 9. Oh, it's gotta be. It's gotta be lethal, right? It's gotta be. It's got to be. So tap all of our mana. Wait, is this not enough? Now we actually got, I have to think now. Sacks an online permanent, discards a card. So we can go X11. So it's actually not lethal. Okay. We need a new plan. All right, so in that case, I guess we play Nazguls. Get tempted. Stick with Smeagol. Play Pitiless Plunder. Actually, no, let's just pass. All right. Let's see if we survive. Hopefully the Nazguls hold up. Next turn, we can definitely do it with the Torment of Hailfire. This turn, our opponent could have kept their 2 big creatures who double their power. Does this kill us? Probably. Come on now. Yeah, I think we're just dead now. That's so much damage. Block, block, block. Who plays the Pandrel? They also had to have Mox Amber. Oh, and Turn the Earth. Oh, my precious. My precious. Our deck was doing its thing too. We were playing Nazguls. We were doing what we wanted. It just didn't. Well, this hand, do we even keep this hand? I guess is the question. We do have a great henge, and Smeagol is pretty good at reducing its cost. We get tempted by the envelope. I don't know if having the Torment in hand is good or bad. Probably bad. Like, Torment's definitely a very, very late game. So as we saw, I wonder, should we have fired off the Torment last game? Like, the problem is, so mathematically, our opponent could have kept two things, which means, and we would have had to sack our entire board. So mathematically, they would have been able to keep the Thrun and the Golta, which is not ideal. That's a problem for us. Ooh, Rustfield Bridge. Well, I'll grab a snow-covered forest and gain a life. Who's winning now? Nahiri. Can you deal 26 damage? Gold Steel Heart. Well, we're probably doing nothing this turn. All right, we're definitely doing nothing this turn. We could cycle Migration's Path. Are they just ramping into Nahiri? Like, we might be getting janked out. Nahiri, ultimate, like, that seems like a way we could lose. Oh, Chaos Wand. All right, I can respect that. I don't even think we're going to kill that. We could kill that, but I don't think we're going to. Instead, we're just gonna play Smeagol. I enjoy Chaos Wand being resolved too much to actually blow it up here. Plus, like, I don't know, what are you gonna hit in our deck? Hopefully nothing too good. Passes. Well, we will, boom, get a little tempted. We better not be killing our Smeagol. We need your lands. We're gonna end up with more of our opponent's lands than they have. Faceless Haven, and I don't think we attack, because if we attack, then Nahiri can come down and exile Smeagol, so I don't think it's worth it. At this point, our opponent probably wants us to blow up the Chaos Wand. Heroic Intervention. Should we be nice and give our opponent a land? You know what? No, I don't think so. All right, here go, opponent. Well, we need some more ways to be tempted here. Opponent passes. Play the land. This might just make our opponent scoop. Play the Great Henge. They just spent their artifact destruction to on a mana rock. Golem to join Smeagol. Oh, apparently our opponent just has all the land destruction. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. In that case, you know what? You know what? We are gonna, here you go, opponent. You get your land. We will be nice and give you a land. I feel bad that our opponent's not doing anything. And because they're not doing anything cool, they're just blowing up all of our mana rocks, which is annoying. Yeah, I still don't really want to attack with this Smeagol because of Nahiri. Opponent. All right, draws the land. All right, opponent's in business now. They are doing things. Smothering Tithe. Oh, we can pay for it, right? Yeah, let's just pay. Migration Path. Swamp Forest. Get in with Golem. Pass the turn. What is this? Highest Kindling. When an ATB is 2 damage to any target, beginning your upkeep, draft a card from its spellbook. Okay. I don't know what that means exactly, but okay. We will pay the 2. All right, we actually got to look this up. What is in this spellbook? Should we be scared of this spellbook? Abrade, Tear of the Peaks, Explosive Singularity, Gutter Snipe, Season Pyromancer. Oh, those are all pretty good cards. Good enough that I don't really want our opponent to start getting them. So we're going to tear asunder the Kindling. And yeah, let's play the Malachar pass the turn. I mean, at some point we're just gonna fire off Torment on the Hailfire. I don't know if it's gonna be enough. We're gonna go for it. All right, there's the Nahiri. We do have Hogger's Mauling, so we do get to get rid of it. Opponent going to loot. Discards Portal. Well, okay. Oh no. Oh, that only hits. Oh, that's worse than I thought. Okay, that's awkward. Diabolic Intent. That's gotta be sweet. 2. Pay for the Smothering Tithe. Fire up the Faceless Haven. And then I think we Diabolic Intent the Golem. Get tempted. I have no idea what we're looking for. Ooh, how many cards are in their graveyard? 4? That's not that many. I mean, you never go wrong with the One Ring, right? You know what? Let's take Eldritch Pack. Pass the turn. At some point, this Eldritch Pack might just be lethal. Repair and recharge on Portal. No creatures in their graveyard. Golem and our... So Portal's not even that good. Tangle Florahedron also not that good. Well, 1. Pay for the Smothering Tithe. Tangle Florohedron as a land. Are we just passing? That feels so bad. I mean, I guess we just get in with a Faceless Haven. And we get to loot. Ooh, Ashnod's Altar. Yeah, let's discard Ashnod's Altar, as awkward as that is. Pay for the Smothering Tithe. Hit you to 13. And pass the turn. Opponent takes our Golem. I mean, eventually the portal's going to be an issue if we can't just kill our opponent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, they have so many Nahiri returns. Opponent going to loot. I mean, our hope is Tireless Tracker. 2. Pay for the Smothering Tithe. Play Tireless Tracker. Play the Brood Pit. Pass. This Nahiri going ultimate is going to be a concern. The easiest way for us to win is going to be this Eldritch Pack. We just might... Wow, we didn't even discard anything. Oh, God. Meteor Golem. Gonna go after the Tireless Tracker. Well, we will crack the clue. Draw a card. It's a land. Pay for the tithe. Opponent gets in with Golem, and they get to ultimate the Nahiri. That's also not great. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Torment you for 10, see what happens. So this isn't gonna be enough to win, but if it can get our opponent low enough that Eldritch Pack can win, we're happy with it. That's kind of the goal here, is not necessarily to kill our opponent because they have too many cards and too many permanents. But if we get our opponent low enough, Eldritch Pack can hopefully finish the job. It might be enough. We'll see. Also, this Nahiri gets to ultimate, which who knows how bad that'll be. There's some pretty bomby stuff you can tutor up. All right. Well, it all comes down to this. Opponent gets to reanimate. What can they get with the Nahiri ultimate? They shouldn't be able to 25 us. They don't know it, but they need to gain life or else we get them with Eldritch Pack. Opponent takes their Tireless Tracker. Land. Clue. Nahiri. All right. What are you looking for, opponent? Gets to tutor up an artifact or creature onto the battlefield with haste. So this has been an interesting game. Nahiri seems like a pretty powerful commander. Just because the ultimate's only 2 turns to get to. Combustible Gearhulk. Sure, we're gonna let our opponent draw. Just because we should have lethal this turn. So our opponent playing a bunch of stuff is kind of fine if we just win the game. A Johnny Aspiring, what? Gain 2 life. Exile target creature, controller. Okay, goes to 6. 6 is still not enough though, right? They have 9 cards in their graveyard. Well, we're gonna go for it. Target player draws X, loses X, where X is the number of cards in their graveyard. Yes, we are sure if they can deal with their graveyard, this does fizzle. Oh, got him. Wow, Eldritch Pack. I was trying to figure out what is the best finisher for this deck? How do we actually close out the game? And I think the Eldritch Pack is one of the best and most flavorful. Torment's also good, because really that's part of the power of Smeagol, right? Is Smeagol gets to ramp a bunch. That's kind of the whole gimmick. Eldritch Pack kind of takes advantage of both aspects of Smeagol. It takes advantage of the fact that it ramps a bunch. Also, it fills our opponent's graveyard, so it has some natural synergy with the milling, so it can potentially just be a 7 mana kill you. We saw it there, like there was what, 7 mana 9 damage, which isn't especially efficient, but good enough in that case. Oh no, Atraxa, oh god. All right, we will see. We do have a Tireless Tracker. I mean, Atraxa really scares me. Is Atraxa not one of the busted commanders? Is Smeagol in the busted commander list? Too good? Too OP? Gotta play against the busted commanders? I just can't do it. I can't do the voice. My precious. All right, Malakari Birth, go. Yeah, let's just play another tap land. Agadim's Awakening, go. Against Atraxa, so normally I'm not a big fan of sniping mana rocks with something like Terra Sunder, although against Atraxa it might actually be worth it. Speaker of the Heavens, what? Well, Smeagol. We're coming for your precious, Atraxa. Don't kill it. We don't have the mana to recast it. Settle down over there, opponent. Shattered Shankdom. All right, some life gain, sure. Well, this is actually kind of interesting. I mean, Atraxa is still a very strong commander. Atraxa life gain is not one of the most common themes, though. Like, that's kind of a cool direction to go with Atraxa Praetor's Voice. Normally, you see like proliferate shenanigans or whatnot. This is embracing the fact it's a 4/4 flying vigilance death touch lifelinker. Abona passes. Really good at drawing the Tournament of Hailfires, aren't we? How bad is it if this starts making angels? Pretty bad, right? I guess it's a ways off. All right, let's play Tireless Tracker. Tapped. Overgrown Tomb. Also tapped. Make a clue. And then get him with the Smeagol. Even just hitting our opponent makes it harder for this Speaker of the Heavens to actually start making angels. Once it starts making angels, it's pretty good. Oh god, is it Atraxa time? I guess we can kill Atraxa. We're probably gonna have to discard something. I mean, I guess we also have Terra Sunder. We need to hit our lands. That's the biggest thing. All right, opponent. Is Atraxa still the #1 most popular commander overall? Not even like just in Historic Brawl. I feel like EDH Rec has it #1 for the past 2 years. What about the past month? Sauron has displaced it for the moment. Past week. Oh, past week it's Atraxa. Wow. I mean, that shows you something about the popularity of Atraxa, right? Like, a new set comes out, people are really hyped about a bunch of new commanders, and Atraxa is still, like, if you're not building with a new set, you're building Atraxa. That's the #1. Opponent. Ozolith hits us with Speaker of the Heavens. Well, let's play a Blooming Marsh. Crack a clue. Draw a card, get a counter, go to combat, hit you with our dorks. So were they like life gain counters? I don't know what's going on. Opponent's got an interesting pile of somewhat related synergies. Life gain stuff, but also, I mean, Atraxa proliferates. I guess that's the idea, but I don't know how they're like Heliod's? Ajani's Pride Mates, things that care about life to get counters. Oh god, Righteous Valkyrie. That is a good card. And going to grow the Speaker of the Heavens, okay. Opponent goes to combat, gets in. Well, we will crack. We really need a way to be tempted. We are not good at being tempted at the moment. All right, Nazguls. Nazguls actually tempts us. Well, play the land, get a clue. Play Nazguls, get tempted. We will make Tireless Tracker the Ring Bearer. Do a little ramping. I mean, I guess we're okay with this, right? If our opponent kills it, get in. It's pretty greedy to let this live, right? Does that risk us just dying? Probably. You know what? We're gonna play Black Market Connections. It is definitely greedy, but why play Historic Brawl if you're not gonna be greedy and run out the Black Market Connections when you should be killing Righteous Valkyries? What even is the point if we're not doing that? Opponent has 1 card in their graveyard. Eldritch Pack not looking too hot at the moment. Hopefully we get some more temps going at some point. Well, this is an angel too. Oh. Lunarch Veteran, yeah, gains a life. And then Legion's Landing, yeah, makes a token. Oh, you can't flip it though. You need three attackers. Grows the Righteous Valkyrie, hits us. We'll take it. Down to 14. Although actually it's about to be a lot less than that. So do we even care about the Shapeshifter? It does work well with Nazguls. Well, we're definitely going treasure draw. Are you allowed to do this without taking the 6? That's, you know what? Boom. Take the 6. Take the 6. Those are the rules. There's rules to this game we play. We need something to die. Actually, let's just attack with Tireless Tracker. Sack the Shapeshifter to the Bone Shards. So then we get tempted at our end step. And then maybe just play Witch King. If we want to be extra safe, we could leave up Terra Sunder, but Atraxa doesn't have haste, right? Among that huge pile of keywords, Flying Vigilance, Death Touch, Lifelink, no haste. All right, opponent's gonna jump with the token. Sure. That is acceptable. So, Bone Shards, sack a creature, which will be the Shapeshifter, kill the Righteous Valkyrie, play the Witch King, play Cabretti Courtyard, gain a life, which is actually kind of important here. Snow-covered forest, and pass the turn, get tempted. Just stick with Tireless Tracker. Grow the Nazguls. We will choose black. Wait, do we get Scry? Is that how this works? Oh, Okay, Casualties of War is staying on the top of the deck. That is a hit. I think that probably leads to a concession, right? I think our opponent either needs to kill us here. Okay, there's the Atraxa, finally. Kind of think our opponent should have played this last turn when they could have gained a bunch of life, but opponent passing. Well, let's crack the clue draw card. Through the Tireless Tracker. Opponent proliferates. 1, 2, 3. Dreadhorde Invasion. All modes. No fear. No fear. Opponent's at 24. That's so much life. Yeah, I mean, I guess we have to Casualties of War. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, Casualties of War. Artifact, creature, enchantment, land. So, artifact, creature, enchantment, land. Wow, that is brutal. Go to combat. Hit ya, hit ya. Do some looting. Find a Nazgul. Discard a Dreadhorde Invasion. We do have to make sure we take like 0 damage, essentially. All right, opponent takes it down to 12. Yeah, we just gotta pass. We just gotta pass. We gotta leave up this Terra Sunder because we cannot afford to take a single hit if our opponent has removal. Angel on the Secluded Courtyard, sure. Sigarda, humans, and you have hexproof. Okay. Gains a life. Oh wait, does it say each opponent? It does say each opponent. Okay, we will crack a clue. Untap. We will make a treasure and lose 1. We can't pay all. We can't pay all this time, or we actually do just straight up die. Play a land. How many? 5 cards in the graveyard. Attack, attack. I think we can probably win here. Let's see how our opponent blocks. Wait, they're taking it? Oh, that can't be correct. I don't know if our opponent did the math on that one. I was thinking, oh, we can probably win with Torment of Hailfire, but our opponent just took it. Just took it to the face. Sweet. Very tempting. Ooh, Gandalf the Grey. Okay, it's the ultimate Lord of the Rings showdown. Gonna be slinging some spells, I assume. That's kind of what Gandalf does. It does have one powerful mode. The copy an instance or sorcery mode seems pretty powerful. The rest of the mode's pretty meh. Well, let's play Alter Dementia. Unfortunately, we don't have an easy way to protect our Smeagol here. Opponent Sulfur Falls and passes. Smeagol's definitely dying, right? Let's just do this. Let's just play the Mana Rock. Play the Mana Rock, get tempted for no value. It does hurt to waste a tempt, but I feel like running out Smeagol just into our opponent's open mana is likely disastrous. Hercule, Riveteer's Outlook. Yeah, we'll play Smeagol. Pass the turn. At least playing it while your opponent's tapped out means they're gonna have to spend mana during their turn if they want to kill it. A little bit better. Just play Gandalf. Play Gandalf, set up to do cool things in the future. How bad can it be? How bad can it be? Opponent. Lightning Bolt. You know what then? If you're gonna do that, opponent, we are going to mill you so hard. Yeah, I guess we gotta put it back to the command zone. Boom. Mill 4 magic cards. Gets in with Hercule. Gets to grab an instant. Key to the archive. Cheating. Cheating. Takes a Soul Sphere. I wish we could do... You know what? I guess we gotta play Witch King. Actually, no. That doesn't even work against Soul Sphere, does it? It loses Indestructible. Well, this is not looking good. Play creatures and then sack them to Milia? I don't know if this is a good plan, but it's all we got. This Hercule's going off. We got no removal. Opponent plays a land. Runs out Gandalf. Scoot Swarm, but still, oh boy, pinched on lands like crazy. Oh yeah, this is real bad. I think I'm pretty sure we're dead here. We'll let our opponent do their fun thing though. Yeah, I mean, I guess this is not good. All right, sack a land, get 2 lands. Yeah, this has been our worst game by far. Apparently Spellslinger controls a tough matchup. All right, here you go, opponent. I mean, technically, our opponent only currently has 4 cards in hand, although I expect that's going to change real quick. Down to 17. Opponent passes. Let's play a Nazgul. Get tempted by the ring. Tempting. And then play another Nazgul. How many cards we got? 76. So all we gotta do is play 70. We milled you into... This is going bad in so many ways. It's almost amazing how many different ways this is going bad. Opponent didn't cast it? That was interesting. Why did they... Oh, did they punt? Counter target spell that wasn't... Oh. You can't pay the cleave cost with Torrential Gearhulk. Okay, okay. So opponent learned a lesson about their deck, about the super janky... I don't know about the cleave mechanic. It just doesn't look clean. Well, I mean, we will block with a Nazgul. Why is our opponent not doing things? I'm so confused why our opponent's just doing nothing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we have 6 mana. Well, I guess we go to combat attack. We get to loot. We draw Feed the Swarm, which is actually kind of good. I think we're going to discard Scoot Swarm. Takes the Nazgul beats. Well, I mean, we're going to try to kill Gandalf. Opponent's got to have a bunch of counters in hand. Blitz of the Thunder Raptor. All right, we'll sack the Nazgul. Milia. What good does copying that actually do, though? Wow, do they have to target their own thing? Oh my god, they do, don't they? Do they not? Oh, apparently not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll just pass. We're down to 12. I'm surprised our opponent's not doing more. So strange, moment of truth. Well, let's get rid of this Hurkle. We don't really want our opponent to start drawing cards. All right, so they get to go digging. Okay, maybe we're in this game. I was feeling like we were so far out of this game, but now I'm feeling like we're kind of in it. We're still behind on mana, but we might actually get to start ramping. All right, opponent finds a card, mills a Volcanic Sprite. Passes. Well, play Smeagol. Return a Nazgul's to hand. Get tempted. We really need this Smeagol trigger so we can... Haha! Okay, so we can ramp. We're still on 5 lands somehow. Milia. Steal. Ooh, Hall of the Storm Giant's a good one to steal. Yeah, I'm glad we're not facing that down. Opponent. Gonna draw a couple cards. Sure. Can we actually mill them out? Milling the opponent out was not really part of our plan, but we're making some progress. All right, Gandalf going to return. We'd really love Smeagol to live, but I'm not the most hopeful. Is it time for Gandalf to go off? Well, sack Smeagol again. It never ends. Back to the command zone. Milieu, Memory Deluge. And we drop to 9. Play Nazguls, get tempted. Smeagol's like infinite mana now. Playing Nazguls, get tempted. Like a Bratty Courtyard. Back up to 10. Yeah, our opponent's been really good at killing our Smeagol. We would have been ramping so much and milling so much if we could have kept our Smeagol out, but our opponent is making that difficult. Nazgul's bigger than Gandalf, apparently. At least Grey Gandalf. I have not been super impressed with One Ring to rule them all. Only destroying non-legends means it's actually pretty bad as a Wrath. Combo kill, Banefire copy it. Yeah, we can't do anything about that. All right. That was an awkward one for our deck. So I think one thing we're learning about Smeagol is its power to snowball is very strong, but it also takes some setup. Like, it doesn't do anything when you run it out on turn 3. It's more of a late game commander, really. It seems like, oh, on turn 3 I run it out, it's gonna be awesome. In practice, that's not exactly true. Well, Maestro's Theater. So as and also a little light on lands. Hopefully, so we can play the skeleton and then sack it if we need to, which we probably will need to. Actually, Jadar is even better at that, right? Play Jadar. So next turn, we can sacrifice the Decay Zombie to hopefully draw land. It would be so much sweeter with Smeagol out to do like the little aristocrat stuff, but we'll see. Opponent. I mean, we're playing 39 lands, so we're not being super cheaty. Frodo Baggins. So we draw land. Well, in that case, I think we play the Forest. We play the Swiftfoot Boots. Let's just do it now. Sack the zombie, draw a couple cards. Make a zombie pass the turn. Oh, we gotta block it with our Jadar? That's annoying. Raven Man. Yeah, the zombie can't block, so we are gonna have to block with Jadar. Opponent gets in with Frodo, gets to loot. Opponent loots way up. Branch Walker, yeah, we gotta, yes, we do have to block it. And they make a, oh, look at those synergies, Well, we're gonna play Beseiju. We're gonna play Smeagol. We're gonna get Swifty on the Smeagol. Get in with the zombie. It's gonna die. We get to ramp and get tempted. I mean, if Smeagol lives, next turn's gonna be sweet. If they can start pumping Frodo, it's actually kind of obnoxious. Could use a removal. I can't believe we're getting Frodo'd, but we could actually kind of use a removal spell for this Frodo. Also, Thalian Gitrog is gonna be coming at some point. It could be coming right now, actually. Nizumi Informant. Well, okay. Resembling Skeleton's a pretty easy discard. And shortcut to the mushrooms. When the ring tempts you, if a permanent you control left the battlefield this turn. Okay, permanent didn't leave the battlefield, so that's good. Opponent's gonna get in with a bird. Gets to loot. Wow, this is the Lord of the Rings battle. We are experiencing the Lord of the Rings battle. At some point, we are gonna have to draw. Oh, opponent has Nazguls too. Phyrexian Arena. I mean, that is good. How much can we do this turn? So Nazgul's tempts us. Well, I guess we just play Tireless Provisioner. Play Cabretti Courtyard. Make a treasure. Get sacked. Get a forest. Make a treasure. And then play Nazguls. Get tempted. I guess we stick with Smeagol. Do some ramping. Make a treasure. Yeah, let's just pass about it. The landfall synergies with Smeagol are actually pretty sweet. Each player discards a card, activate only as a sorcery. We will discard, oh, is it Phyrexian Arena? Discard the altar. Altar is really good with the resembling skeleton though. Drawing 2 cards a turn though. All right, we're gonna discard altar. We want the card draw. Our life total's at 26, so I think we can afford to try to get Arena down and draw some cards. Opponent gets in with the Flyers, Are we gonna lose to the birds? Are we actually gonna lose to the the Raven Man birds? That seems like it could be a thing. They only need one more ring temp to start hitting for 3 more. Opponent makes a bird. All right, what do we draw? Lotus Cobra. Well, we will play Phyrexian Arena. We will play a Lotus Cobra. Attack with the Nazgul. All right. Down to 22. So we can get back the skeleton. Oh, really? Really? Okay, so now we gotta top deck something. Our plan was to draw cards with Phyrexian Arena. Now that plan has gone away. Opponent gets and hits us. I mean, I guess we just got to start being aggressive. Like that's the Raven Man 1 ring thing's actually going off. Opponent's doing some work with this combo. We draw a swamp. Not very good. Well, we'll go to combat. We need to loot, attack. Harrow. Okay. All right, kills the Nazgul. That's actually kind of okay. Killing the Nazgul means at least we do get tempted. We will make the resembling skeleton our ring bearer. Make a food, add a mana, crack the food. Pass the turn. We're seriously losing to the birds. All right, Thalian the Gitrog monster. Gets tempted, maxes it out. All right, yeah, the clock is increasing. Here comes the birds. 8? That's actually a lot. Wow, this is the best I have ever seen the Raven Man be. It actually does synergize with the looting of the ring, doesn't it? Honestly, this early Frodo has kind of dominated this game for our opponent. Hits us down to 19, hits us down to 16. Well, okay. Sack a land. For a swamp. We need a big draw here. Make a food. We need this life gain. Make a food. Add some mana, sack the food. Come on, deck. We need a bomb. Losing that Phyrexian Arena really hurt. Step 1, attack with Resembling Skeleton. Loot. Discard Riveteer's Outlook. I'm gonna block with Frodo. What do we feed this form, though, is the question. Is it just Thalia and Gitrog? I mean, this Raven Man's going off, but it's gonna get harder, right? Yeah, let's kill Thalia and Gitrog. Get back Resembling Skeleton. End of turn. Opponent makes a bird. We get tempted. Make a food. Add a mana. Sack the food. I mean, this food... this food is keeping us alive. Just barely. We could use a Wrath. We need to get rid of these birds. We need to get rid of the birds. This clock is just like... it's increasing turn by turn. Braid's Frightful Return. Return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. The Scavenging Ooze. Okay. That can potentially deal with our Resembling Skeleton. We need a good draw. We need one of our finishers. Or a Wrath. Opponent has removal. Blood Chief's Thirst, the Tireless Provisioner. Alright. We can't stop it. Gets in with a huge flock of crows. Yeah, that's 10 off the top. Our opponent gets to loot. Well, this is it. It all comes down to this draw. If we don't draw something this turn, we are going to die to the birds. We'll sack the food. We do get a loot with the Resembling Skeleton. Opponent makes another bird. Ashnod's Altar is not going to do it. Go to combat. Get in with the skeleton. Come on, deck. Snow-covered forest and dead. Frodo Raven Man, apparently a thing. We are Smeagoling in Historic Brawl, and we're gonna keep this. Atraxa, fancy Atraxa this time. What is it with all these Atraxa? Is Smeagol really in the Busted Commander group? It might actually be. That seems ridiculous to me, but it might actually be, because this is the second time we played against Atraxa. Although, I don't know if you saw the first time or not, honestly. Play this on black. Someone spent some gold on some emotes. Nice, yes, that was, a very talkative opponent over there. Well, we'll play a land, and how do we want to do this? This is better after Smeagol. Do we play Smeagol? What if Smeagol just dies? How sad are we? Pretty sad. We could Harrow, but that's better in the future. You know what we do? I think this is the best plan. All right, let's Harrow. Do a main phase. Grab a forest and grab a Schwamp. Yes, that was a very nice Harrow opponent. We'll play a Swiftfoot Boots. Go. So the next turn we can Smeagol and put Dust Boots on Dust Smeagol, and then hopefully start doing some things to our opponent here. Voidwing Hybrid. They really are a toxic deck. That kind of feels like cheating. Toxic in Historic Brawl. Should be what? 12.5 poison counters to die if we really want to be fair about it. Opponent. Atraxa gets in with the hybrid. Yeah, this isn't looking good. I mean, I think we just die here. Heroic Intervention, that also doesn't do much. Well, boom, Inherited Envelope. Milia. Opponent says nice. Yeah, we were just dying here though. We're just dying here. Yeah, toxic, I don't even know. That feels so cheaty. Canker Bloom. Going after the Swiftfoot Boots. Apparently wants to try to kill our Smeagol. Not even, okay. What possible ways are there of us winning from here? Are there possible ways? I don't know if there are. Wow, yeah, toxic is so cheaty. I feel like toxic has to just be by far the best thing in Historic Brawl, right? Like, how can it not be? Opponent proliferates up to 6. We draw a Torment of Hailfire. That doesn't do anything, and yeah, I guess she got us. Okay, way to go. See, that is everything I feel about poison in commander formats. Oh, should be higher. Should be higher. 12.5 poison counters. I'm telling you, that's the correct number for Historic Brawl. 12.5, and it has to be exact. If you deal 30, you can't go over. It's like Price is Right. If you deal 13, it doesn't count. Ooh, Tom Bombadil. Okay. I mean, we should probably be scared of Tom Bombadil. Tom Bombadil. Well, this hand can do some ramping. I like that. Otherwise, I don't know what this hand's really doing. Tom Bombadil seems strong, but it also seems kind of slow, right? You got to get some sagas going, so hopefully it's not super fast. Maybe it's just an Enchantress deck. That's one of the easiest ways to build Tom Bombadil. Tom Bombadil. Ooh, we'll keep in Orcish Bowmasters. That card's kind of busted. Abundant. Mountain and Ooh. Let's see. Bowmaster Scoop out of here, Ilson Caryatid. That's not part of our plan. Let's play this turn Timber, pass the turn. Opponent, would you like to draw some extra Magic the Gathering cards? Where's the Sagas, opponent? Where's the Sagas? Oh, our Bowmasters. We wanted to use that to wreck you. Yeah, I guess we can play Smeagol since we drew this Malakar Rebirth. We have a way to protect it. It also makes this Entish Restoration even better. All right, Saga number 1, Era of Enlightenment. Gonna scry a couple times. Tom really makes you play some bad sagas, doesn't it? Era of Enlightenment is not an incredibly powerful Magic card. Exile-based removal. All right. Well, that's unfortunate. We had plans for removal, just not exile-based removal. Well, all right. Let's play the Ranger, play the land. Get tempted. Haha, down to 16. Opponent gonna gain some life, back up to 18. Is it Tom Bombadil time? Not yet. Exile-based removal. Well, opponents they gotta be about out, right? They gotta be about out. Faceless Haven and Smeagol again. Hit you with the Orc. Opponent, gonna flip the Saga. Actually, after mocking Era of Enlightenment, a 2/2 first strike does essentially just lock down all of our attacks here. Binding the Old Gods. Well, you have activated our MDFC trap card, opponent. Yeah, Smeagol is dead. We are not going to go to the command zone. Instead, we'll put it back into play. Ooh, Bombadili's Song. So, let's see. 1, 2, 3. Let's Deadly Dispute. Sack the Orc. Draw a couple cards. That'll trigger Smeagol end step. Play a land. Entish Restoration. Turn Timber. We get 3 lands because we have a Smeagol. Oh no, is this card bugged? Where's our lands? We're never gonna know what happens because Bear, with his big butt, unplugged my internet. Wait, are we back in time? Did my internet restart before I lost? Oh! Wait, it failed to find our lands though! Oh my goodness. I don't know what happened. We will play a Spring... Oh, we did get opponent's land. We'll play a Spring Bloom Druid. We'll sack a swamp and a forest. We'll play a Altar of Dementia. We will sack the... Okay, we made it. I can't believe we made it back. All right, we'll sack the Spring Bloom Druid. Mill you. That's mostly just to trigger Smeagol. No attacks. Smeagol mills you. About it. Gonna death touch up the dorks. I mean, we got Tom Bombadil's Song. maybe that's the secret to this matchup. If our opponent starts to go off with Tom, let's just everyone play Atraxa. Seriously, what is the deal with these Atraxas? Opponent, block with Smeagol. Sing Tom his song. Get tempted. Steal a land. What? Opponent scooped it up. All right, Bear, I take those comments about your big butt back. We're good, bud. We're good. You almost made us die, but oh, silly puppies. So what did we learn this week about Smeagol in Historic Brawl? An overall record, I don't really care that much about record in Historic Brawl, but we went 7-6 with the deck overall, so a slightly winning record, which is fine. Like, with Historic Brawl, my goal isn't usually to be super competitive. It's a format you play because you want to have fun and you want to do cool things. At the same time, I also want to win sometimes. Like if I'm winning 20% of the time, the deck's got to be doing something really cool against the odd style for me to enjoy playing the deck. So Smeagol, I think, kind of hits the sweet spot where it's good enough to win about half the time, and it also is a super unique commander that just does some really cool things and has some really sweet synergies. So what do we learn about Smeagol itself? And I think we really got to see the ceiling of Smeagol and the floor of Smeagol throughout our matches. So the ceiling of Smeagol is, if we run out Smeagol and our opponent can't kill it, or they're playing a removal light deck, this card can just go off. Like, we've had games with this where we play Smeagol on turn 3, and then we just start sacking stuff and playing Nazguls, and next thing you know, we have like 10 lands on the battlefield by like turn 5 or something. Like, it gets out of hand really quickly, because remember, every land we steal from our opponent when we're tempted by the ring is a land we can use the next turn to like cast another Nazgul, to cast something else that'll be tempted by the ring, so it kind of builds on itself and snowballs really effectively. So that's the ceiling of Smeagol, is it is a 3-mana commander that, if it sticks on the battlefield, essentially can just win the game as we're tempted by the ring. On the other hand, the floor of Smeagol is, we also had games where we run it out and our opponent kills it, and then we run it out for 5 mana and our opponent kills it, and then we run it out for 7 mana and our opponent kills it, and we just kind of do nothing, because a lot of our tempted by the ring cards are not great unless we're also triggering our Smeagol. Like, Bombadil's Song is not a card we really want to be playing, like, or even Sam's Desperate Research, or some of the, like, Claim the Precious. These cards are okay, but they're really underpowered compared to the other options, unless they're triggering Smeagol, unless they're growing our Nazguls, unless we have these payoffs. So that's the easiest way to play against this deck, is just keep killing the Smeagol. And you saw those games, we really rarely win. The games where our Smeagol dies 2 or 3 times, it's really, really hard for us to piece together a win, because a lot of our cards aren't great unless we have Smeagol. I will say, something I really liked about the deck and something I really didn't like, we never got to go off with Shadow of the Enemy. We had one game where we drew it, and our opponent had a pretty big graveyard, but then they had some card that shuffled creatures from their graveyard back in their library, like the turn before you. It was like the most random thing, that they somehow had turned the earth to like shuffle their Crater Hoof back in their graveyard. So we never really got to see Shadow of the Enemy go off. On the other hand, I was really impressed with Eldritch Pack. Like, this card is really, really good in Smeagol, to the point where if you're playing Historic Brawl, or if you're actually playing just normal Commander, I think this is like a staple level card for Smeagol decks. It just plays so well with what Smeagol does, which is filling the opponent's graveyard and ramping. Like, we ramp into it, we can cast it for 7 mana super easily, and this was a legit good finisher. This was the card that we just like mill enough that we can cast this and kill our opponent on the spot, and that was actually a really effective plan for winning the game. All in all, I really enjoyed this deck. I really like the synergies that it offers. Smeagol, it offers like this cool mixture of 3 or 4 different things that when you add them together, it becomes something entirely new. Like, we have landfall decks, we have aristocrat decks, I guess we even have ring tempt you decks. There's other commanders that care about that. But what Smeagol does that no other legend does is it really combines those things together. So you want to be tempted by the ring, but you also want the mill synergies and the graveyard synergies, and you also want the Nazguls. Nazguls are like legit good in the deck. I actually think Smeagol is the best Nazgul commander. Like, if you want to like Witch King of Angmar or whatever, like, that's fine. Like, that's a cool way to play Nazguls. But I think just power level wise, I think Smeagol is the best way to do it, because like we talked about, you play the Nazgul, you get tempted by the ring, that gets you a land, which gets you the mana to play another Nazgul, to be tempted by the ring, to get another land, to keep the snowball going. So I actually think Smeagol is like kind of built to be a really good Nazgul's commander. So I really enjoyed the deck. The synergies are really cool. It wins enough, and it does some really sweet things. So that is Smeagol for Historic Brawl. That's been our deck for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.